Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to all the fans, welcome to every Friday with Eplan Tip. Magic begins to raise the standard. So, what is today's topic? Yeah, little interesting one. So, today we are not going with the brain. Today we are going with skeleton and muscle. Means nothing but Eplan Pro Panel. So we don't do every time export, but sometimes if you do export, there was a question that if I try to export, I found that mounting panel and its components are missing. So when we try to export ePlan Pro Panel, whatever we created in the layout space, okay, when we convert that into step file, we found that mounting panel and its components are not coming. Why does that happen? Okay, so first thing we will try to find out. So whether we are we able to export it to step or not. So that we'll try to understand. And most important thing you have to remember, if you are using 2025 and below, it also depends on the modules what you have it in ProPanel. So sometimes if you don't have option to export, then you don't have that particular module. Okay, so that is another important thing which you have to remember. So let's find out, and if we can export that 3D file to step, so what all the things to be taken care during the export. So we will try to know more about it on all those lines. So as usual, you know that there are few things you should be aware about it. First thing, you should know what is layout space. So if you talk about Eplan Pro Panel and if you don't know layout space, then there is no point in working on this particular one, because if it doesn't know that layout space, then what is the point in talking about the 3D? Okay, layout space is something very important for ePlan Pro Panel. Means it is a heart for that. Okay, without layout space, nothing works there. Okay, that is very important. Second, we should know that if I created anything in the layout space, how do I export it and how do I convert that into step file? So if I converted that into the step file, let us explore on the settings and checkbox why I'm not getting mounting panel and components, what all the other things are possible with help of a step file on those lines. So without delay, what we do, we will quickly switch to ePlan. So here we come to that ePlan 1. So as I said earlier, the most important thing is when you want to work on 3D. So if you have opened any page, automatically you see that this ribbon will come into the picture. So you can see the 3D. If you don't have anything, nothing, you will be seeing it. Once I double click on one particular page, which opens in the workspace, automatically you will get these three tabs coming into the picture. What are the ones? Insert, edit, view. So related to, for us, any navigator, if you require to open, this particular one is a beautiful one which we have it. What is that? View. So when I select that view and if I go to open, here I can see there is a layout space. As I said earlier, if you want to work on 3D, this layout space is something very important. So this is a layout space. In the further future videos, I'll try to create a basic one where you can understand little bit on the 3D part of it, ePlan Pro Panel 1. So, but today's I am just focusing on how to export it. While exporting, do I get this entire panel? When I export it, how exactly it looks? All those things we'll try to understand now. So for that, you see that this is the layout space I was talking about. And in the 2026, you have a provision where it will tell you which is X, which is Y, and which is Z, which was not possible in the older versions, but they made this available in this one. So you can play with this and you can also create a home view. But earlier, we used to go with a southeast isometric view. Okay. So I have a panel, but we are not getting into detail of that. Okay, what you are doing it. These are the simple things you should be aware. Zoom in, zoom out, pan, right? Press hard the wheel button, you can pan. So after that, if you want to rotate, so you know that if you click on this and smoothly, your left click, press hard that left click and slowly you move the mouse, you can rotate the way you want it to rotate. Anytime if you get the way you don't want to rotate, go back to that views, you click it, automatically you can get back. Okay, so lot many such things are required you to know. Once you press escape, you are out of the rotate. Okay, so but today we are exploring on the export, so that's why we are not getting into that detail of it, but yeah, in the future videos I'll try to create that also there. Okay, so to export that, what I have to do, where I have to go, I have to go to that file, I have to go to export, I have to go to layout space and step. If this particular window is not active, remember that you don't have a module or a license for that. So that is how it works. Yes, so this is how it works for you to have it. So for this, what you have to do it is, so once I click on this tab, so now it will convert. So when you see there are a lot of other things are also shown here. It all depends on the license what you have. Okay, this design work space we will come on some other time. So here there is a beauty that it also tells you that in this NC data also can be taken inside. So this in the maybe in the future videos I'll try to explore and I'll explain you on those lines. But today we are focusing on this particular one called step. So what I did, I went into file. In that file, I went into export. In that export, layout space. In that we are there in the step. Okay, this is very important. As you go in the back end, you see that export, and after that you are clicking on this layout space. Then only you will be able to see this step. Okay, so this is very important. So once you click on the step, this is where you get this window coming into this picture. So if you have selected that particular enclosure, then it will try to create for that one particular enclosure. If you have 10 enclosures and if you don't want all 10, only one, then you select that in the layout space. So no need of clicking apply to entire project. If you click means it will have all 10 will be available. So right now I selected this. So we'll just see that how what happens. And after that now I'm just storing it in the desktop. So I'm just want to keep it in the desktop. So what I do it is I will say click OK. So as I click OK, now exporting. Okay, so fast. Export is already done. You can see that the file I'm getting it here. Okay, so this is a file which I'm getting it. So let me just show you the properties. So you can see that today's date you will be able to see it. Okay, so I'll just go back to Eplan. Now I'll try to import the same thing. I want to test it and see that did I got proper one or not. So what I do, I'll go to file. So here is an import. Layout space, because I don't have any 3D software to check it, so I'm checking in the same Pro panel itself. So what I'm doing it is I'm importing the step file. So as I import the step file, automatically it will create a separate layout space. So you can see that automatically it is creating a layout space for me. See, this layout space is automatically created. This is how when you prepare any enclosure, I think if the people who are aware about Pro panel, I think they might be having it. See, you will be getting in this fashion. Whereas you can see that in this we have a transparency. But when I got into that step file, you will not see any transparency or anything like that. Okay. But I can see the enclosure, log, all those things are coming. Let us check. Are we getting these mounting panel ones? Ooh, there is something is missing. That's why the people used to say that. When I try to export, now you see that only the enclosure is there, but we don't have any mounting panel and those stuffs. Is it really there in this? Yeah, you can see that. See, we have a mounting plate and all those components, but whereas here we don't have. I'm saying right click, hide. Now I'm clicking on this rotate. You see that I don't have anything. Okay, that is the reason they are saying that this is not available. Okay. So now what we do it is we will select again this one. We will try to go to file. We will say export, layout space, step. So as I said many times, what happens is always we think that that setting is taken care and everything is done. So that is where very important your user setting, project setting, if it is done, all that works is click. If those settings are not done, that's where it will take you for you to do it. So here now I'm browsing it. I mean now yes, I browsed it, and then we have something called step standard. You can create whatever scheme you want to have it. So as a standard one, you will see that it will be given in this fashion. So it will tell that from the layout space name, what version you want to have it, simplified terminal, 3D macros and everything it says. Okay, it can also export routing connections. It can say the auxiliary elements. But this is something very important. What is that? Only external representation of enclosure. If you say it will take only the frames, side panels, doors, that is the one. So you have to untick this one. So that's why many times I tell you that in Eplan, if you know where exactly to tick and where exactly to untick, half of your problem will be resolved like anything. Because of that, many times what happens, we have to spend a half a day or 1 day or anything. Because this is where the click is very important. So if we untick this, I think we will try to explore that. So this is very important for us to understand that only external representation of the enclosure should be unticked if I need mounting panel and its components. Vishnu, are you sure? So we will check. Okay, I have unchecked it. If you want to create your own scheme, yes, always welcome. You can create your own scheme. Okay, so I would say that this is for, so always go with the company name, and after that I will say 3D export. So here I will untick so that whatever changes I want to create it, I am creating it, and then I am clicking OK. So now what I do it is I selected already A1. I want to replace that same thing. Okay. So what I do, I'm keeping in the same desktop, and I'll say click OK. So it'll ask me to replace. Yes, go ahead and replace. So once I click on that replace, now that file will be replaced in the desktop. So now you see it took little more time. Let us import and check whether I'm getting it correctly or not. Earlier it was 1. So now if I try to import that file, it will become 2. Correct? Yes. So not export. I have to go to import. In the import, not project data, layout space. So these things you should be aware about it. Okay. So as you see, this is the import. In the import, you go to layout space. In the layout space, you can click on this step. Okay. So I'll click on this tab. I will select this particular file there. Okay. So once I get that particular file, now you see that I am taking inside the Pro panel because I don't have any 3D software to check it. So I'm trying to check in Eplan Pro panel. So I'm doing import so that I can know that whether the export has done properly or not, that you will get to know. And as you know that anything goes out of Eplan, that intelligence will not be there in that. So that is very important for you to know that. So even after you take it inside the Eplan, still the intelligence will not be there. Okay. That is very important. Now it is taking time means you can understand. Means it is loading all the components. So that one particular tick is something very, 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 very important. While exporting, if you don't see any mounting plate or components, remember only external one, because of the tick, it was not allowing you to get that mounting panel and the components. So that is very important for you. That's why in Eplan, the more you get an idea on controlling those settings, the better output you can extract from Eplan. So especially that's why the basic project plays a role. Similarly on the user settings, all these settings and everything, if you set it, most of your work can be easily done with help of this Eplan. So that's why those key things which is very important for us to know. So if you ask me, that 5 seconds, especially the tick part, is very, very, very important. Okay, so that can save you a lot of time. So let us see that it's almost done. So once this is done, we will see that how it is shown in the output, and we will check whether it had a mounting panel and its components are visible or not. So this part we will quickly check once it does that import, and hope you people are actually export. It's not mandatory that we have to export it. Why we need to export? If somebody asks you that to export, then only we'll give it. But generally, this is not required for us, because if you want any drilling details, we have a drilling template and that will create it NCTXF and you can have it. If somebody asks you to export, then you have to really see on that line. So this is the one which we were talking about. I will hide the side panel. Yes. I will click on the rotate. So I can see that all these components are all coming. Even you can see that, see, wire connections are also visible. Oh, okay, okay, beautiful. So this all are visible with help of Eplan. So when you exported, and if you need a component to come, as I said, most important is untick that particular one. Which is the one you have to untick? You have to go to export, you have to go to layout space, you have to go to step, you have to click on this browse button, and this is a particular one which you have to do it. Only external, sorry, external representation for the enclosure. This is very important. Okay. And if I need any routing connections, you give it, otherwise not required, it's fine. But you may not get the color what you look at. I think it is default taking some color into that particular one there. Okay. So this is what you have to get familiar with Eplan. So whenever you get on those lines, so you can see it, all these things are shown in this fashion. So I can see that you will be getting all those things in this fashion. Okay. So you may not get exactly the way you look for Eplan, but you can see the components the way it is coming in this fashion. So you can see that the terminals we had an individual block, but when I see it in this one, so it was little different on those lines. So but that I want to explain you on the tick part, so I just thought that will be very useful for you. So if in case you are doing it, but if you ask me, export is not required to do it, but you still, if somebody insists and if you want that to be done, then that you can just have it in this fashion. Okay, so that tick, that is a way which you helped it in you to get it in this fashion. So when I go to export, layout space, step, so this is a place and this browse button. So simplified representation and all those things were there. So let us just remove that. Remove that. We will just try this also. We'll see that simplified representation means always a cube. If you remove it, how it comes. We'll just quickly check it. So yeah, it will take a little more time, but sorry for that. But we'll quickly run this particular one. We'll say that okay. Click OK. Sorry. I think we have not taken the one which we were supposed to get it. So we took some other one. Yeah, let me just cancel it. So we are interested in this A1. In that we will just go back to that file, export, layout space, step. So in that we will just remove these things and we will keep it only this. Yeah, now we will try to export it. It will ask for replace. Yes, please replace. So yeah, we will quickly run on this part and we will check that is it possible to get how exactly it looks. So generally we will not do all these things because if you ask me, that may not be required. But those are the clicks which will make a huge difference for us, right? Yeah. So simplified representation means the way it shows the breaker, it will become a cube. So all that you have to give it is height, width, depth. If you give it, automatically, see, this is a simplified representation. Normally we call it. So this is a simplified representation. Okay, simplified representation, it is showing in the same way. That's why you are getting it that way. Okay. Now, see, for terminal also, when I took that terminal one, you can see that the block is coming in this fashion. That's why you were getting that in that fashion. So I can see that, see. Okay, that's why I was surprised why I am not getting a terminal the way. Okay, now we'll try to import it and see whether I removed that simplified representation now, so that can I see whether I get in a much better way. Oh, okay. Oh, earlier I did something else on that file. Okay, last one I did that. That's why it was creating. But this is a file which I wanted. So now I am importing the A1 enclosure. Yeah, it will take little time, but you understood. When you click on simplified option means it will show with respect to your height, width, depth, and all those things. For the terminals, it was clubbing and showing you the entire this one. So that's why I also got that to see it in that fashion there. Okay. So this is very important for you to know. Whenever you do export, you have to pay a little on that browse and play that. Okay, if I tick, what happens, untick and everything. Once you get the desired result, create a scheme, save it and share it within your team, so that whenever next time when they want to do it any such things, it can be easily done. So that checkbox are very important, and most important, you should also have some patience to read that, because many times we don't have any patience. Every time we go there, tick, we want to do it. So when you are doing the first time, have little patience, read those, try to uncheck it, check. Okay, once you got to know how it is working and all those things, then no more need to check it. That's why settings are very important for us to explore on those lines. Okay, that's very important for us to get those things, and that you should not forget. So let me just pause for a minute if I get a chance. Oh, okay, let's see that it is happening fast. Okay, so no need to pause. So it's almost done. So now I'm at the end of the one. So let me just click it. Hope it generates. So whenever you try anything new in Eplan, I would say that have little patience. Try to explore it. Once you get the desired result, remember those settings and create a scheme. That is very important. That's why that XML files, schemes are very important for you to have it. Okay. So you may ask me that, yeah, we are getting lot of schemes and everything. So I saw in one of the company that they have created one script. They written a script so that whatever schemes they have created, all those things can go and sit in that particular place. So if you just have a scheme in that SMD folder, if I run that script, automatically it will go and sit in that particular places. So for that also you can write a scripts on those lines. Okay. So that is also an interesting one which you can hear. So for us, if you ask me, user setting is very important, as the project setting, however you know that that is controlled by the basic project part of it. Correct? So those things are all you are aware about it. I just want to repeat on that simplified option, how it actually works. It takes that height, width and depth. So these informations, when you give it in the part database, make sure that these data are all given in Eplan. Because if we don't give this Eplan, so sometimes what happens is, if they don't have any 3D file, then it will look for this height, width, depth. So that's why I would say this is very important for you to give those informations there. So then only you will be able to get all those informations in that same fashion there. Okay. So that's something which you have to get familiar. In the future videos, I'll try to go with the basics of ProPanel, our skeleton and muzzle. Today I just went quickly, so someone was asking export part. So I didn't explore any time, so I thought of exploring it. So I thought of, while exploring, I thought of making a small video on that, so that you will also get an idea that when you try to export, this is what you are going to get at. And when you have those files, what is possible, what is not possible, you are getting those ideas there. So now we are jumping into that. So let me just hide the door. Now you see that you are getting the components in the real this one. Earlier you used to get in the simplified option. So you understood why you are getting it and all those things. It was because of that. So when we go to this export, layout space, step, this is something which you have to be familiar. So when you tick these two in the simplified option, that is the reason why you used to get a cube. So now once I remove it, automatically I am getting it. See that these are all the ones which you required in this fashion. Very good. So this is how you will be able to achieve what you want to export it. I think automatically all these things can be done in this fashion there. Okay. Hope it will help. So whoever is doing it, if somebody has struck on this, or somebody thinks that if I export, do I really get what I required and all those things? So those doubts and everything should be cleared by now for you. Okay. So before I could say bye, I would love to say that please like to load more contents. Please comment to get quality output. Please share to reach maximum users. Don't forget to subscribe. It's Vishnuvardhan Reddy. Jai Hind. Have a nice day.